Your brain is a threat detection system that has been running the same software for 200,000 years. It's designed to find the one thing that's wrong, the one potential danger, the single reason to worry. This script explains the one mental command that interrupts this ancient programming instantly. And the consequence of letting that old software run unchecked is the low-grade constant hum of anxiety that you've come to accept as normal. The origin of this programming is simple: survival. For our ancestors, the person who obsessed over the rustle in the grass was the one who avoided the predator. The one who worried about the coming winter was the one who stored enough food. Their brains were perfectly tuned to scan the horizon for problems. A happy, content brain was a vulnerable brain. The anxious, vigilant ones passed on their genes. Your genes. So that internal critic, that voice that replays your mistakes, that nagging feeling that something is about to go wrong, that's a feature of the system. It's the echo of 1,000,000 years of successful survival strategy. The software works perfectly. The problem is the context. There are fewer predators in the office, but your brain still scans for threats. A critical email from your boss, an ambiguous text message, the news cycle, the threat detection system maps ancient fears onto modern anxieties, and it never turns off. It just keeps scanning. This creates a state called a negativity bias. Given 10 inputs, 9 positive, 1 negative, your attention will lock onto the one negative piece. It's why one criticism can erase 100 compliments. It's why you lie awake at night thinking about the one awkward thing you said in a conversation that was otherwise fine. Your brain is giving disproportionate weight to perceived threats. It's doing its job. But the job description is hopelessly outdated. This system is so powerful, it can color your entire perception of your life. But what if you could give it a new job? You override the system by giving it a new search query. This is the core of gratitude. It's an active, cognitive instruction. Instead of the default command, scan for threats, you issue a new one, scan for evidence of good. It's a deliberate redirection of your attention. You're using the exact same mental machinery, the same powerful search function of the brain, but you're pointing it in a different direction. Think about it. The feeling of anxiety isn't just a mood, it's an active process. Your mind is actively seeking proof that your worries are justified. It's looking for data to support the fearful hypothesis. Gratitude is the counter move. It forces the mind to engage in an equally active search, but for contradictory data. You ask it to find proof of safety, of support, of things working out. Find one small thing: your morning coffee, the fact that the sun came up, a song you like. At first, this feels artificial. It feels like you're lying to yourself, especially if you're in a genuinely difficult situation. You're trying to find a green leaf in a forest fire. But the initial search is the whole point. The act of looking begins the shift. Research from places like the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley has consistently shown that people who consciously practice gratitude report higher levels of positive emotions, more optimism, and even fewer physical ailments. They feel more connected to others. The process works, but the initial effect is much faster and more physical than just a mood change. It's a physiological event that starts in your chest. To understand how deep this goes, we need to look at your heart. Specifically, something called heart rate variability, or HRV. HRV is a measure of the tiny millisecond level variations in time between your heartbeats. You might think a steady metronomic heartbeat is a good thing. The opposite is true. A healthy heart is adaptable. It's constantly making micro adjustments to meet the demands of your environment. High HRV is a sign of a resilient, well-regulated nervous system. It means you can shift from stress to calm with ease. Low HRV, on the other hand, is a marker for stress. When you're anxious or frustrated, your heart rhythm becomes chaotic and disordered. Your HRV plummets. Your body is stuck in a state of high alert. This sends a cascade of stress signals from your heart to your brain, reinforcing the feeling of anxiety. You're in a feedback loop of stress. Your brain feels threatened, your heart beats chaotically, and that chaotic signal tells your brain that the threat is real. This is where gratitude performs its most immediate magic. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute have studied this for decades. They found that when you consciously generate a feeling of appreciation or gratitude, your heart's rhythm pattern changes almost instantly. It shifts from that chaotic, jagged pattern to a smooth, coherent, wave-like pattern. This state is called psychophysiological coherence. A coherent heart rhythm immediately increases your HRV. This coherent signal travels up the vagus nerve from your heart to your brain. It's a biological message that says, all is well, you are safe. It dials down the fight or flight response in your amygdala and brings your higher level thinking online in the prefrontal cortex. This is the frequency shift made visible. It's a measurable change from a state of internal noise and disorder to a state of biological harmony. You can feel this shift as a sense of calm, an opening in your chest, a quietening of the mind. It happens in minutes. But practicing this state begins to leave permanent changes in the very architecture of your brain. Every thought you have, every feeling you experience, carves a small path in your brain. This is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Think of your brain as a landscape. Your habitual thought patterns are like rivers carving deep canyons over time. The negativity bias is a massive, well-established riverbed. It's the path of least resistance for your thoughts to flow. When you first try to practice gratitude, it feels like trying to push water uphill. You are forcing your brain to create a new, tiny little stream in unfamiliar territory. The old canyon of worry is right there, easy to fall back into. This is why the first few days or weeks of a gratitude practice can feel like work. You are literally building new infrastructure. Neuroscientists using fMRI scans have seen this process in action. When people practice gratitude, they see increased activity in the medial prefrontal cortex. This is a region of the brain associated with understanding other people's perspectives, empathy, and relief from stress. Essentially, gratitude exercises the parts of your brain that connect you to others and calm you down. Each time you force your brain to scan for something good, you are strengthening that new neural pathway. You're sending a little more water down that new stream. Over time, that stream becomes a creek. The creek becomes a river. Eventually, you build a new canyon that is just as deep and accessible as the old one. The brain learns that the scan for good command is a valid and useful one. It becomes a new default option. Now, some will say this sounds like putting on rose-colored glasses, that it's a form of denial, ignoring the very real problems in the world and in your life. This is a misunderstanding of the tool. Gratitude is a resource-building exercise. It's like charging a battery. You face problems more effectively from a state of coherence and resourcefulness than from a state of depletion and anxiety. You are training your brain to see the whole picture. You see the challenges, but you also see the resources you have to meet them. And this new wiring changes what you automatically notice. Deep inside your brainstem is a bundle of nerves called the reticular activating system, or RAS. The RAS acts as a filter. It's the bouncer at the nightclub of your consciousness. You are bombarded with billions of bits of sensory information every second. You can't possibly pay attention to all of it. The RAS decides what gets your attention and what stays in the background. Have you ever decided to buy a specific model of car, say a blue SUV? Suddenly you see blue SUVs everywhere, on the highway, in parking lots, in commercials. The number of blue SUVs on the road has stayed the same. What changed was your filter. You told your AS that blue SUVs are now important. It started letting that information through to your conscious awareness. The cars were always there. You were just blind to them. This is exactly what a gratitude practice does. It's a way of programming your reticular activating system. By consciously and repeatedly searching for things to be thankful for, you are training your internal filter. You are telling your AS evidence of good, of support, of beauty. This is important now. Let more of that through. At first, the search is manual. You have to consciously hunt for these things. But with consistency, the RAS learns the new pattern. It starts to automate the process. You'll begin to notice things spontaneously. The kindness of a stranger, the way the light hits a building, a moment of genuine connection with a friend. These moments were always happening. They were just being filtered out by a brain that was programmed to prioritize threats. This creates a powerful, self-reinforcing loop. You train your attention to notice the good. Because you notice more good, you have more to be grateful for. This deepens your feeling of gratitude, which further trains your attention. This is how people shift their entire disposition from cynical to optimistic over time. Their underlying reality has changed because their perception of it has been fundamentally retuned. They're seeing a wider slice of what was there all along. The idea of shifting your frequency sounds abstract, but it's a cascade of concrete, measurable events. It begins with a single conscious choice, a new search query for your mind. That cognitive act triggers an immediate physiological shift in your heart's rhythm, creating coherence and calming your entire nervous system in minutes. Repeating this choice starts a physical construction project in your brain. You build new neural pathways, making it easier and more automatic to access states of appreciation. This rewiring then retrains the gatekeeper of your perception, your reticular activating system, so that your subconscious automatic attention starts to filter your world differently. You begin to see the evidence of good that was always present. It's the fastest shift because it's a full-stack intervention. It works on your thoughts, your body, your brain structure, and your perception simultaneously. The survival machine is always on, scanning for the rustle in the grass, ready to protect you. You can thank it for its service, and then you can teach it to also notice the warmth of the sun, the stability of the ground beneath your feet, and the vastness of the sky above. The search function was always yours. You just have to change the query. And this same attentional mechanism explains why repeatedly imagining a negative outcome can create the same stress chemistry as living through it, which is a power working in reverse.